Hello friends, welcome to lecture number 37. In today's class, we will study about force on a moving charge in a magnetic field. As I have told from the beginning of this chapter that we will be studying about two things. One is the magnetic field and the force due to the magnetic field. And we have studied in detail about the magnetic field by studying about Biot-Savart law and Ampere-Circuital law in our previous lectures. So today we will try to find out, because of that magnetic field, what is the force encountered. Okay. So we'll be studying force on a moving charge in a magnetic field. This force was calculated by a Dutch physicist named Lorentz. Lorentz. Okay. So according to him, the force of the magnetic field will be equal to Q charge into V cross B. Okay. Followed, F is equal to Q V cross B. If you remove this cross product, it will be Q V B sin theta. Right. Now you see V cross B, that means I require the velocity in which the particle is moving and I require the direction of the magnetic field also. Then I can find out what is the direction of the force. Okay. So here we'll do some examples. In this first case, what I have drawn here, that a minus Q charge is given to you, and here the velocity of the particle is upwards, and the magnetic field which is given at the center, and here it is dot represents the field lines are moving away from the plane of the paper. So what you have to do, you have to stretch all your four fingers of the right hand in the direction of the velocity, and then take it and curl all your fingers in the direction of the magnetic field. The magnetic field direction is up, so you take your all four fingers of the right hand in the direction of the velocity and curl it up. Okay. And where is the thumb direction? The thumb direction will be in this direction. So this should be the force direction. No, this cannot be the force direction, because the charge here what is given is minus Q. Therefore the force direction will be in this form, this direction. This will be the direction of the force. I hope it is clear. Let us go to the second one. Now V direction is given, and here the magnetic field is cross. Cross means into the plane of the paper. So take your right hand, show all the four fingers in the direction of the velocity, then curl all your four fingers down, then you see the direction of the thumb. It is quite obvious. The thumb direction will be the direction of the force. It will be in this manner. Okay. In the third example, it is given that infinite wire is there and current is flowing in the direction which is shown. If current flows in this direction, then what should be the direction of the magnetic field? It is quite obvious. Keep the thumb in the direction of the current, and all the four fingers will tell you the direction of the magnetic field. So it is quite obvious. In this side of the current, the magnetic field is dot, whereas on this side the magnetic field is cross. Okay. That means above the field lines will come out, and below the field lines will enter. So the charge minus Q will experience the magnetic field cross. So similarly, so all your four fingers of the right hand in the direction of the velocity, then curl your finger down because the magnetic field is down. So you'll see the force will be in this direction. But this is not the direction for our case. Why? Because the charge is not plus Q, it is minus Q. Therefore the force direction will be reversed. So what should be the direction of the force then? This will be the direction of force. Okay, not this one. Is it clear? So I hope you can easily find out, if velocity of the particle and the magnetic field direction is given, you can easily calculate the direction of the force and the magnitude of the force using which law? Using your Lorentz force. Okay. Now here it is quite obvious that F vector force will be perpendicular to V, because we know A cross B is equal to C, means A is perpendicular to C as well as B is also perpendicular to C. So this implies force is also perpendicular to displacement. Okay, that is ds vector. Then what will be F dot ds? F dot ds will be how much? It will be 0. And F dot ds is nothing but work done. Work done is going to be 0. So a very important conclusion that comes out from here, that work done by the magnetic field, by the magnetic field magnetic force, work done by the magnetic, Fm is the magnetic force, is 0. Okay, is it clear? Now we will try to find out different cases how this Lorentz force is going to be modified if velocity becomes 0, if theta changes, if b value changes, what all these things will be there. Let us study that. Okay, so the first case we'll study. In the first one, case 1, in this case, if v is equal to 0, that means velocity is 0, so it is quite obvious my force is going to be 0. Okay, now what conclusion can you draw from this? That is, velocity is 0 means we are talking about a stationary charge. Okay, so that is a stationary charged particle does not or don't experience any force. Okay, don't experience any force. This is your case 1. So now let us go to the case 2. In case 2, what will have, in case 2, if theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree, okay, then sine 0 or sine 180 is 0. So this will imply my force is also going to be 0. That means no force will fall on that. So what conclusion can I make? That the particle moves undeviated. That means no force, so it will be undeviated. Okay, that is, it moves in a straight line. Okay, so if I want to show it pictorially, let's see how we can show it. We have some magnetic field lines in this manner. Okay, and you have a charge here, you have a charge q, it is, velocity is in this direction. That means it will go undeviated, it will go like this in a straight line. Understood case 2? Now let us go to case 3. Third case. In case 3, it is telling if theta is equal to 90 degree, then sine 90 will be 1. So this implies F will be equal to how much? QVB, which is the maximum value. This is the maximum force. Okay, maximum force. Just one second. This force is maximum. Okay, now let us see how it is. We take a magnetic field where it is into the plane of the paper. Into the plane of the paper means it is represented by cross. So here the magnetic field is into the plane of the paper. Followed. Now you take a charge q. Q is here. It is moving in this fashion. So it is quite obvious magnetic field and V, they are mutually perpendicular to each other. So what you can say, show all your 4 fingers of the right hand in the direction of velocity and then curl downwards. Where is the thumb pointing? It is quite obvious the thumb is pointing in this direction, perpendicular. So if it moves, and where have you seen that the velocity and this force will be perpendicular? That means it will move in a circular fashion, circular motion. If you try to remember, the radius and the velocity, they were perpendicular to each other every point, for which we can say here that the path of the circle, the path of the charge q, will be circular. Just one second. If it is 90 degree, then the path of the circle will, the path of the charge q will be circular, and the force will always be towards what? Towards the center. You take any point and check. You'll see everywhere, every time the force will be towards the center. Okay, so the particle will move for theta equal to 90 degree. What we can say, that the particle will move in a circle. Okay, now if it is moving in a circle, then it will have some radius, it will have some time period, it will have some frequency. So let us now calculate that. Okay, let this capital R is represented as the radius of the circle. Radius of the circle. Which circle? The path in which the particle Q, the charge particle Q will move, because the theta is 90 degree. Okay, now if I want to calculate what is its radius, then we know that a particle moves in a circular path. That indicates that the centripetal force, the centripetal force is balanced by the magnetic force, is balanced by the magnetic force. Okay, that means centripetal force means m v square by capital R is equal to qvb. Okay, sin theta is gone because theta is 90 degrees, sin theta is sin 90 is 1. So what will be value? This vv gets cancelled out. Then what will be R? Radius of the circle. Radius of the circle will be mv by qb. This will be the radius of the circle. Okay, then question comes time period. Let us try find out the time period. In order to calculate the time period, t will be equal to how much? 2 pi r, that is the circumference of the circle, divided by velocity v. This will be equal to 2 pi by v, and radius we have already calculated, mv by qv. Vv gets cancelled out, so time period comes out to be 2 pi m by qb. This is the time period. Then once you get the time period, then you can easily calculate the frequency. Then question comes frequency. And what is frequency? F is equal to 1 by t. That will be equal to qb divided by 2 pi m. So all these things are required for our next class when we will study about cyclotron. Okay. Then once you have calculated the frequency, what about angular frequency? Since it is moving in a circular path, it will have angular frequency. And what is angular frequency? It is omega. And omega is how much? 2 pi f. That will be equal to 2 pi. What is the value of f? qb by 2 pi m. So 2 pi gets cancelled out. Omega is equals to qb by m. So this is how you can find out your angular frequency. Okay, clear? Now here one interesting thing comes, that suppose we are having if a charged particle, suppose if a charged particle is moving, a charged particle is moving in both electric field, charged particle is moving both in electric field and magnetic field. Then Lorentz told that the force total force will be equal to Fe, because of the electric field the force, because of the magnetic field the force. And what is the electric field force? We have studied in chapter number 1, that is QE. E is the electric field, plus QV cross B. Okay, so when you will read about electromagnetic waves chapter, at that time the force, because of the existence of the total electric field and magnetic field simultaneously, the F total will be Q E cross E plus B cross B. So this is the expression which you will find in many books, which indicates that here it has taken into account both electric field as well as your magnetic field. Followed? Now let's go to the next one. Along with this, we need to define the magnetic field. So let us now define the magnetic field, definition of magnetic field. Okay, so while defining this magnetic field, we have to consider your expression from the Lorentz force, that is B is equals to F by QV sin theta. We'll use this expression to define. Now if Q is equal to 1 and your V is equal to 1, theta is equal to 90 degree, this implies B will be equal to F. So how can I define it? It can be defined as the force, it can be defined as the force acting on a unit charge moving with a unit velocity at right angles at right angles to the direction to the direction of the field of the field. It comes define electric field in terms of Lorentz force. It will come in the exam for 1 mark. Okay. Then let us go to find out the dimension of this magnetic field. That will be a dimension of F divided by dimension of Q, then dimension of V. Force dimension, all of you know it. It is mlt minus 2. Then what about the dimension of Q? That is at. Then velocity will have the dimension lt minus 1. So let me solve this. If you solve it, you will have m l, no l will be there, t to the power minus 2, a to the power minus 1. This will be the dimension of the magnetic field. Okay. Then what is the SI unit? SI unit will be Tesla, or according to the dimension it will be Newton, ampere inverse, meter inverse. Okay. So this is the dimension and SI units of the magnetic field. Now if you look at the cases which we have done, in case 3 it is 90 degree, case 2 0 degree and 180 degree, the case 1 velocity is 0. Now is there any probability that it can also be the particle will also be moving by some angle like 30 degree, 60 degree, 40 degree other than 90 and 0 and 180? Yes, it is possible. That will be your case 4. And here what we will do, that will be your to find out for some arbitrary angle. Okay. So we can give a heading here. It comes in a separate manner. As a 2 mark question it comes, that velocity of the particle velocity of the particle makes an arbitrary angle with B vector, the magnetic field. Some arbitrary angle it will come. Okay, let's do that. So here what we'll do, we'll try to take the coordinate system. Let me draw the coordinate system first. Okay, this is our coordinate system and this will be a z-axis. Okay, this is my y, this is my z, and this is my x. Now let us see what will be the magnetic field. The magnetic field direction is like this. This is the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, uniform magnetic field. These are the directions of the magnetic field. Now it is telling that the this charge, it will be projected by making some angle. So let us project it from here, right? So the velocity is v. The particle q charge is here. This charge is projected by an angle theta from the x-axis. Okay, this is how it is projected. Now what will be its motion, in how it will move, whether it is circular, it will move in straight line, how it will move. See, this velocity v, that can be resolved into 2 components. One component along the x-axis, which will be called as your parallel component, v parallel, and the other one will be this one, which will be in the y-axis, that will be v perpendicular. Okay, two components it will have. One parallel component, other one is the vertical component. Okay, now you'll see here that the perpendicular component will help the particle to move in the circular path, and the parallel component helps the particle to move forward. Okay, we have in perpendicular theta is 0 in parallel the theta is equal to 0, and perpendicular it is 90 degree, and we know when it is 90 degree it is circular, and when it is 0 degree it moves straight without any deflection. That's what. So the combination of these two, we are going to see the motion. Okay, so let's see what will be its motion. We can write here, when a charged particle moves in a magnetic field by making some arbitrary angle, other than 0 degree, 90 degree and 180 degree, then it's then it will follow then it will follow a helical path. Will follow a helical path. Okay. Okay, with its axis with its axis along b vector magnetic field. Followed? So if it makes some angle, then the path will be a helix. Okay, remember this. It will follow a helical path. Now, how this helical path it will be represented? You see here, it will be something like this. It will go in this fashion. This is the helical path. Okay, it will go in this fashion. This is called your helix. Clear? This is the magnetic field. Let me draw some few more magnetic field lines. These are few more magnetic field lines. Okay. Now there is the distance between two circles of a helix. This distance will be called as your pitch. We will also calculate this one. What is pitch? Also will calculate. Okay. So now we come to a conclusion that if it makes an angle theta, then it will move in a helical path. Okay. So we can now write here that the velocity will have two components. Okay. One component will be your v parallel, and what is its value? It is v cos theta, as we know resolution of vectors. And what is v perpendicular? The v perpendicular is v sin theta. Okay. So one thing you remember, the parallel component helps the particle to move forward. So let me write it. This v parallel, it helps the particle to move forward. Okay, to move forward. And what is the v perpendicular component does? It helps the particle to move in a circular path. Okay, this one you should keep it in mind. Helps the particle to move in the forward path and circular path. So this must be clear to you. So now let us find out what is the radius of the circle it makes. The radius formula we have already calculated, mv by qb. But now v has got two components, parallel component, perpendicular component. So while finding the radius, which component is responsible, parallel or perpendicular? Looking at the diagram, you can easily make out it is the perpendicular component. So I have to write down here v perpendicular. Okay, so if it is v perpendicular, what is the formula for v perpendicular? V sin theta. So the formula for radius will be mv sin theta divided by qb, that will be your r. Okay, is it clear how to find out the radius of the helix? Then what is the time period? T will be how much? T we know it is 2 pi r divided by v. But which component of v? Perpendicular component. Okay, so let me write here 2 pi uh, 2 pi r by v perpendicular. So what is your v perpendicular? It will be radius will be how much? It is m v sin theta, because radius I am taking it from here, qb, into v perpendicular is how much? V sin theta. So it will be your v sin theta. Okay, 1 by v sin theta, right? Am I doing it correctly? mv sin theta by qb, and v perpendicular will this much, so it will be 1 by, sorry, this will be 1 by v sin theta. Okay, so v sin theta gets cancelled out. So what is left out for you? 2 pi m by qb. So this is the time period of revolution. Okay, this is the one. Then last important thing, we need to calculate what is pitch, that we need to calculate. Okay, so we can write here the linear distance traveled by the charged particle in the direction of magnetic field during its period of revolution, during its period of revolution is called pitch, pitch, pitch of the helical path, pitch of the helical path. Okay, and what is pitch then? Pitch will be speed into time. Now which velocity will take? It will be parallel or perpendicular. Pitch is the in the x-axis, so you will take v parallel into t. Okay, now what is v parallel? V cos theta. And what is t you have found out? 2 pi m qb. Then what will be the expression for pitch? Pitch will be equal to 2 pi mv cos theta divided by qb. This is your pitch. Okay, clear? Now today's last thing which we are going to study is your velocity selector. That is required for our next class when we will start with cyclotron. So let us try to understand what is velocity selector. Okay, velocity selector. In this velocity selector, I will again take the coordinate system. I'll take the help of coordinate system x, y and z. Okay, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis, and this will be your z-axis. Right now, in the x-axis, in the y-axis, I will have the electric field here. In the y-axis, we'll have the electric field. Here I will have the magnetic field in the z-axis. Okay, and the velocity will be in which axis? In your x-axis. This is the velocity. Okay, fine. Now you see that if electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular, electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular, right? And a charged particle enters this region with velocity v, okay, which will be perpendicular to both electric field and magnetic field. Okay, now when can this happen? When your magnetic force and the electric force are equal and opposite. Okay, so let us try to find out what will be the direction of the electric force. Your electric force will be along the direction of the electric field. That means in this direction. Is it clear? This will be the direction of your electric force. Then what about the direction of the magnetic force? It will be opposite to this. It will be in this direction. Okay, that will be FB. Clear? So this velocity selector tells that if electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular and a charged particle enters this region with velocity v, okay, which is perpendicular to both electric field and magnetic field. Now when can this happen? When your electric force is equal to the magnetic force and opposite. The forces must be equal and opposite, which is easily visible from the diagram itself. Okay, and the charged particle with given velocity v will go undeviated, okay, in between the two fields. That means whenever the electric force and the magnetic forces are equal and opposite, then the velocity of the particle which moves through it goes undeviated. That means at that point of time, what I can say, my QE must be equal to QVB. Okay, then QQ gets cancelled out. Then what will be my velocity of the particle? Electric field by magnetic field. So why do we call this as the velocity selector? V is equal to E by V, because for a desired value of the velocity, I mean, if we desire that this must be the velocity value of the particle, then we can play around with the electric field and magnetic fields magnitude, and their ratio we can keep in such a manner that we can get the desired value of the velocity. Okay, so that is called your velocity selector. This arrangement, and write this arrangement is called velocity filter or velocity selector. This is basically the purpose for making the particle to move in an electric field and magnetic field which are perpendicular to each other, and the particle which moves, it goes undeviated, and this goes undeviated only when your electric force is equal to magnetic force, and from there what you can draw, V is equal to E by B. So this is a very important relationship which many a times has come in the exam also. V is equal to E by B. So this is it for today's class. I hope everybody must have enjoyed it. Do not forget to subscribe my channel. For any queries, you can mail me in the mail ID which is given below. Okay. Thank you for your kind patience.